Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this, because it's been a minute.
How do you intro this podcast again?
Yeah, we'll just have to put up with the fact that my dogs will be barking and, like, probably knocking crap over out in the house.
And I have a cat hawking up a hairball right behind me. It's fine.
Yeah, so the audience will just have to deal.
Sorry, folks.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Locked Doors, a conference call that is masquerading as a podcast, like raccoons hiding in a trench coat to get into a movie theater. I am Scott Paladin. I am working on a horny werewolf noir audio drama called It Takes a Wolf.
I'm Sam Stark, and I'm here mostly because Scott is working on a horny werewolf podcast.
Yeah, I'm Jack for the exact same reason. We want to hear about your updates. I feel like you have meaningful updates, and it has been like almost a year, right, since we started.
Yeah, it's actually been a little bit over because we started, I think, in October of last year.
Oh my God, really?
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know that we told the audience that I and then we were going on a break. So yes, hello, we're back. But let's acknowledge that real quick. There was a break there. But yeah, it's been a year. So we might want to do a little bit of a State of the Union, talk about where things are, and then we'll get the more specific. Or no, yeah, I guess we'll do specific updates. I have written 2 episodes of my show since last we talked. I'm on 5 of 9 now.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. Do you guys have a specific update since last we heard from you?
Whoa. So real quick, Scott, you've gone into a robot voice for me. I don't know.
Oh no.
I still hear him just fine.
Okay.
Oh, you're both robot voice to me.
Oh, it's
okay,
you.
It's
so then
me.
it's you.
I'm the problem.
The robot voice was coming from inside the house.
Okay, hold on. Let me hang up. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Just Discord being Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So for As in West, I don't think that there are any updates since the episode that Jack and I did together. Because there's just been 2. Hello.
There's a cat in the background.
There's an Oz and a cat.
Yeah.
There's just been too many things going on. There's been I've had too many audiobook jobs, and I had some health problems, and a whole bunch of things happened, and my life sort of imploded for a couple months. So I would like
that is known to happen.
Yeah, I would like to start doing something, or at least maybe pass more of the reins on to Jack, so Jack can start doing things, because I have picked up another project, which is maybe possibly starting an anthology business with my writer friends.
Sick.
So that's, just one more thing to add to my plate. I think that what's next for me specifically is I'm going to kind of give Jack all of my thoughts, and I'm sorry, there are a lot, but maybe I could push the getting it sort of off the ground onto Jack, and then I can sort of be a supportive person in this endeavor. Because if it's just up to me, it's probably not going to happen like for another couple of years.
Right. You just need somebody to sort of like take the reins and lead you along for a second.
And if there's a structure in place, I know Jack is going in and out. Sorry. If there's a structure in place, I'll be able to jump in whenever and add stuff and write things here and there, instead of me like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna do all the things, and then it'll just be easier that way.
Okay.
Hello, I'm sorry.
Discord is
my internet was working fine when we were just sitting here shooting the shit before we started recording. I can hear both of you fine at the moment. It seems to be working right now. So if this happens again, we may have to try something else. But for the moment, we're good.
Let's get let's give it a shot going from where we are, and then we'll figure it out from there.
God,
just leave your Audacity going, or your locals, and then we'll see what it turns out to be. Maybe we'll overcome the lost episode in terms of scuffness.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, if you are talking and you have things to say, you could just talk to them. You could say them into your microphone, and they will be recorded, and then Scott can put them in later.
That's true. Okay, for now you're good though. So Sam, you were saying you're gonna give me something, and then my whole shit exploded.
Yes, I was just basically saying that I might hand the reins over to you. I'm going to give you like my basic idea of how I want the show to go, or how I was thinking I wanted the show to go. from the beginning, you had like just as much influence on where things were going to go as me anyway. So if I hand things over to you and you get it started, it's fine. Like it's not like I had this perfect vision. Like I don't give a shit. Like I want it to be funny and fun and like at times sad, which you happen to be very good at. So I trust
That's
you.
That's my big skill.
Yeah, I trust you to like, I'll hand you a bunch of this bullshit that I have and you can make it sad. It'll be great.
Okay, sick. Are we still thinking we want it to be like one tight season? Because I know last time we spoke on the phone, you were like, I have like 2 seasons worth of ideas. And I was like, that's a great concept. We should maybe consider like, you know, how much scope creep we actually want to indulge ourselves in here.
Yeah.
And like
I've thought a lot about that actually. And I am of the mind that even if you are only going to do 1 season and you plan on 1 season, it's sometimes nice to have 2 seasons worth of ideas because you can make the world richer. You just don't want to like pack too much into each episode. And because I'm a discovery writer, I usually end up having to throw away a bajillion ideas anyway. And as long as we have somebody, it doesn't have to be one of us. As long as we have somebody being like, yo, there's like a lot of shit happening and it's getting sort of convoluted and like keep me in check and we should be fine. So again, because I'm a discovery writer, I'm shooting for 1 season. I would love it to just be one nice, tightly packed season and be done. But I also believe in organic storytelling. So if we get to the end of season 1 and we're like, dude, we never dealt with blah blah blah, like that, it would be fine. I'm not gonna be like, no, I refuse to do more episodes. Like that's dumb. So I'm always open for more. But I would really like to kind of go into this with the focus on it being 1 season. And I'm also not a stickler for how many episodes the season is. So if we do an 8 or 9 episode season, and we have like 2 or 3 more episodes worth of stuff, that's fine. Make it a 15 episode. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's like totally fine. Okay, sick.
But
if you want to just send me like your whole pile of ideas, because I am so hype to put some words on some paper here and like start producing scripts, even if they're not the final form of whatever the episodes actually end up being, because I feel like once something is on the paper, we can rearrange the stuff that's on the paper to our liking.
Get that first draft out.
Right.
Yeah, and it's always easier to build into like if you've got sort of a skeletal structure of stuff that's out there, and you're like, okay, well then instead of, oh, I have to write a whole episode, it's, well, no, I just have to connect these 2 bits.
Exactly.
You know, or I have to like do this thing, or I just have to kind of write this, and that gives you like these more digestible chunks that you can like break things down into.
Yeah, totally.
Which may make all of that a lot easier to do.
Yeah. And I really only have like 1 or 2 things that I'm going to be sort of a stickler about. And I'm pretty sure that we already talked about them and you said they were great. So I'm not worried about it.
We were on the same page about the things that you were like, I really want this to be in here. And I was like, me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
cool.
Totally.
Well, all right. So I guess I did ostensibly say that we're going to do a sort of a check-in on where we are 1 year later. And you guys I feel like you kind of laid out where you are, which is that you've got a bunch of ideas but not anything structural. Like you don't actually have anything down, right?
Yeah, we haven't written stuff. I mean, we had a false start. We wrote like the pilot episode fairly close to the beginning of this
I remember I was like, oh my God, I'm behind.
Well, no, then you slowly and steadily plugged right on past us, but that's totally cool. I think we are in a position where writing can begin at this point.
Yeah. Cool. And then for my part, I'm man, my mental state of like where I'm at. This is the first time I feel good about my progress in like a year.
I love that.
If you had asked me in October where we would be the next if you had asked me in October of 2023 when we started this, where we would be a year from then, I'd be like, oh yeah, we'd be airing the show by now, which is in retrospect fucking ridiculous. But if you'd asked me like 6 months ago,
some people do work at that speed, but most people do not.
Yeah. And if you'd asked me like, earlier this year, where would we be in October? I'd be like, well, I'll have the first draft done. And now it's December, and I'm like, I have 5 of 9 episodes drafted.
But you have 5 episodes drafted, which is mega.
And
I've so real.
And I've been making progress in a way that I was not able to do until quite recently. Part of that was because of the break, and part of that was Breathing Space finally sunsetting, so that I had mental redirection. Bandwidth. I could redirect a bunch of mental energy into it. So yeah, I'm starting to feel pretty good about the way things are going. Hoping that like I'll have the first draft done early sometime next year, so that I can then go in, and I'm already planning a big rewrite of a bunch of stuff that I know I have. Like, I'm like very strictly not going back and fixing anything that I realize is wrong about previous episodes. So like that can all happen later.
Like a bulleted list though of things you want to go back and either seed in earlier, or like things that you want to change to match
like
something
specific stuff. That's a good idea.
Because I always find that when going back to do like early rewrites of things, I'm like, okay, if I don't go back and change it now, I will forget that I wanted to change it, or what I wanted to change, or where the change needs to be made. So I find that at least jotting notes about those spots that I want to return to, and I'm thinking about it at the time, is very useful to me.
I can't even make notes. I have to immediately go back and fix it. Otherwise, it's the next thing down the line is going to snowball into something else I have to fix.
The problem with that approach, that's my instinct too, Sam. Yes. That's like what I want to do, is that if I did that, I'd still be writing episode 2 and rewriting episode 1 at the same time. Yeah. I was just like, no, I gotta do the Meet the Robinsons, keep moving forward, like, or
oh my God, Meet the Robinsons.
Wow, Meet the Robinsons.
What a wonderful plug. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. We could divulge into a 45-minute thing about Meet the Robinsons,
absolutely.
But I do not have that kind of time.
Wonderful feelings just came over me, like the nostalgia of that.
That movie's great.
That's a good one. That's like a stealth good one, because like I didn't know anything about it before going into it, and then I was like, I am delighted by how good this movie is.
Yeah, pleasant surprise.
But like I've just been like, okay, just steadily, just go forward, get this thing done, and then I can go back and change all the things that I need to change.
Change everything.
Change everything. But I'm feeling good about where things are at right now. And I started I'm even doing a little bit of the preliminary, like back of the envelope math for like planning how much money it's going to cost if I want to pay people and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
Which is, it's a lot of money. Which if I want to pay people what I think is a good rate, and we can talk about specific numbers. I was very much though, what's the word? Vindicated in my decision to I cast myself as the narrator, because like there's been a little voice in my head that's been like, hey, are you just doing this because you want to be the cool guy who like says all the words? And I was like, I did the back of the envelope math, and I'm like, oh no, if I had to pay someone to do that role, it doubles the budget.
Yeah, totally, because that guy says so many words.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to pay yourself to say all those words.
I don't think that doing that, though, is going outside of the brand of podcasting, because if I look at all the shows that I really, truly enjoy that are written fantastically and performed immaculately, like, they're all kind of like writer is also main character. And I can totally see why that would work as like an aesthetic choice, but also budgetarily and time.
It's hugely a budgetary thing. All right, but also like now, I recognize also that like there are. I'm sorry, I can't stop that there are people outside. There's nothing to be done about it. He's like literally at my feet, like jumping up and down, being like, "There's people outside. There's people outside."
Listen.
But yeah, so like, there's also really good artistic reasons for the for that decision, which is this is a character that is written to my voice. It's a character that is not. I'm not casting myself out of character. Like, this is a character that I really can play. It's all good, and I know I can do it. It was just a matter of like, there was a little niggly voice in my head being like, hey, is this egotistical, right? Like, do you just want to be the star? And I'm like, no, I just don't want to spend an additional thousands of dollars on somebody else.
Yeah. It is literally a practical concern. And truly, you have like constructed that part to your specifications in such a way that probably you could perform it the best out of anyone on Earth. Like you understand that character.
It certainly does make a difference that I like know what that is entailed there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's cool. So okay, we've checked in. We know where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Previously we have we've sort of talked on a sort of week to week basis about what our like goals, our like targets were.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be okay. I'm sorry. I gotta yell at the dogs.
Guys, Scott's muted his microphone.
That's amazing.
They have so much to say. Someone's outside and they have to tell them about it.
Yeah. They're like, don't you know? This Father, is our domain. And how dare you be there and talk loudly while being on the street. Anyway. Yep. Okay. They're not even done yet. I just mollified them for a second. Uh-huh. Okay. So like, I think it would be helpful for us to sort of aim at sort of more, longer term things, goals for like when we want to expect things to be done or sort of aim for them. Not that there's no consequences, of course, if we blow past these things, of course. Totally. But I think that having some of these longer things in mind might be helpful in sort of structuring how the projects move forward.
Yes.
So you said, Sam, I think you said you had some goals in mind.
Yes. What is it called? The goal for next episode first. And that's going to be, I'm going to hand over all of my notes to Jack. And basically I'm going to pass the torch, I guess.
Cool.
So, but for first, I have to put the notes in a coherent way because now they look like I'm not even joking. It looks like that one meme with the board and all the red string.
Pepe Sylvia, like
yes.
Board.
Yeah. So I don't want to give you that. So I'm going to give you a more cohesive, outline of what I was thinking and all of my kind of random ideas that I haven't put anywhere, and then like the 2 or 3 things that I really care about that I would like to keep, and then completely just be like, all right, I can't do this right now. Have fun, Jack, and then that'll be that'll be where we will be next episode. And then the long-term goal is I would love to have I want to say I want all the first season at least written a year from now, but
I like that.
Realistically, I mean, I think we could do that. I'm pretty sure that we could do that because we're not doing anything intricate like you are with your Horny Wolf series. We're doing like 2 dudes in space trying to find another guy. So it's like it's not really that complicated. So I think we could probably...
I didn't think the Horny Werewolf thing was complicated either.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna eat my words later. I'm sorry, future me. So I feel like we could get the whole thing written before next year, the end of next year, I guess. But if we have half of it written, that is also fine.
Right.
But I'm gonna
There's
set
no
this sort of I'm gonna set this sort of lofty goal of maybe having the whole season written by next year at this time.
Yeah, like at least drafted, if not tightened yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's manageable. Like we can write episodes at a decent clip when we have like deadlines to do it by.
Yes.
I feel like
yes.
Sam, I know you have written for podcasts before too.
Yes.
And so have I. So like it's possible. We know we can do it.
Yeah.
It just has to actually be done. And I think a calendar year is like a reasonable amount of time to be like, okay, if it's 10 whatever-ish episodes, we can draft 10 episodes over 12 months, right?
And I'm not saying we need to have like the finished episodes and all polished by next. I'm saying like maybe we have an outline for all of them, like just have something on paper for every episode.
For each episode a year from now.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Then we might check in after the holidays as well. I'm sort of floating this as with a sort of midterm goal of like, where do we want to be by, April or something like that.
Yeah.
Is also a range that is worth thinking about. But I think that I don't want to set any goals because I'm about to do it for myself. But like, I know how the idea of being like, oh, I'm committing to stuff in December just sounds like,
well, yeah, doing anything at all in December is so rough.
Yeah.
Like there's not only holiday stuff going on in December, but also all the regular life stuff still goes on in December. It's so fucked up. Like, why doesn't time grind to a halt in December? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. with that in mind, because I can't perceive out a full year for myself, because I don't know what stuff's going to look like a year from now. But based on my current pace, I think I'm going to have the full season like drafted by February.
Hell yeah.
And because I got like a week I'm taking off in December that I can kind of dedicate to its stuff. I've been making good progress lately, which is really, and it's been steady. I've got like a really steady amount of progress over the course of like 2 months now. So I feel fairly confident that I can kind of rely on that. And I think I can have the whole thing to the first draft by February. And then hopefully that means February itself and maybe a little bit of March will be revising on that one. And then I'll start laying down, like, I'll make the call on whether or not this is a funded project or not. And we'll start talking about like when that I'll have to figure out when I'm going to do crowdfunding, because how much I'm asking for. And like, I'm going to have, I'll pay for the pilot, and then we'll use that as the promo for the show. Hopefully that comes through. So that will all be figured out kind of sort of around that range. But finish the first draft by February, use February and March as a revising period is kind of what I'm thinking right now.
That makes sense.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a year of Behind the Locked Doors, guys.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't believe it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it helps that this project, the Behind the Locked Doors, is like deliberately low effort.
Yes. Yes.
This is all going to be scuffed and weird, and that's fine. That's just to get it out there.
3 times at the beginning of the podcast. Oh well.
Okay, cool. So we've already talked about our goals. We've talked about our timetables, and I guess that's it for this episode. So we will be back hopefully in 2 weeks, and we will catch y'all then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Behind the Locked Doors. Of course, after making predictions, I already some life stuff has come through, and I will probably be missing those predictions now. So we'll hear more about that later, though. If you want to know more about the podcast or the projects, then look in the doobly-doo of the episode. There's probably a link to like a Discord or something you could go check out. Other than that, this has been a Library of Cursed Knowledge production, and we'll see you in like 2 weeks. Bye.